Well, it's almost been 2 weeks, and a lot has changed in my Elden Ring experience, to say the least. I'm now 35 hours in at level 58, and boy, this really is the game that keeps on giving. My map now includes Caelid, parts of Lunaria. I traveled to and completed Raya Lucaria. Hell, since last time I have defeated not one, but two big bads. Godric the Grafted and Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. I am now, yes, a Moonveil Katana user. I'm mostly keeping away from walkthroughs and YouTube videos so I don't spoil myself or ruin the experience, because exploration in Elden Ring is like the best I've ever seen. But I wasn't really feeling great using the Twin Blade that I had found, especially since I'm mostly a spellcaster. I actually think that the Twin Blade is an awesome weapon, or I guess weapon type in general to use, but I focused on raising my intelligence since the last video, and the Twin Blade just doesn't seem like the best weapon to use with that kind of build. I feel like getting the full potential out of a Twin Blade requires it to be two-handed, as the combos just feel much better when you do two-handed, and of course there's a damage boost to that as well, but getting in close, two-handed, didn't really play towards my style. With the Twin Blade, gameplay would look like this. I would spam rock throw until a boss or a really strong enemy would get stunned, switch to two-handed as I'm running in and hope I have enough time to land a critical blow. Otherwise, I combo for a few attacks and run away, hoping that I didn't queue up one too many attacks, because if I did, I was most certainly going to get countered from that enemy. So yes, I did look up a good weapon that scaled with intelligence. And lo and behold, the Moonveil Katana. I had no idea at the time that it was or was going to be the PvP meta, but I don't really care about that. I haven't touched PvP yet, and probably honestly won't. It was never really my thing in From Software games in the past. But wow, this sword changed the dynamic of the game for me for sure. I wound up removing my shield from my left hand, and always keep my staff out on there. For a while I would study enemies I'm fighting, deciding if I should run in for some light attacks with the Moonveil or keep my distance with Glintstone Pebble or Rock Throw if they looked really strong. As I leveled and received some better armor, some awesome talismans, specifically the Assassin's Cerulean Dagger, which upon a critical hit restores FP, which is amazing. But as I upgraded my gear, leveled up Art Vandalay and my flasks, I now use Transient Moonlight more liberally, as I both have more flask available for FP and gain FP upon critting, which if you don't know about Transient Moonlight, it's basically a sheathing of the sword on L2, holding that and then hitting R1 shoots a short-ranged horizontal magical wave attack, and R2 shoots a medium-ranged vertical magical wave attack, which typically stuns enemies and, awesomely enough, most bosses, thus allowing for a follow-up critical, which with the Assassin's Cerulean Dagger allows you to get a majority of your FP back. Actually, it might be all of it. I have to look into that. Now I've even managed to upgrade Moonveil up to +5. I haven't found any higher material just yet. This, I guess, is a little bit of a disadvantage, as I have other upgrade materials to take a standard weapon, I believe up to +15. And also, downside, I haven't really messed around with Ashes of War at all, as Moonveil Katana cannot be equipped with them. Transient Moonlight is the only skill available, and it's been nearly like 20 hours since I found and started using this weapon. Also, previously on my Twin Blade, I put an Ash of War that scaled really well with intelligence, and I didn't really use it too much. It was really just there to make the weapon stronger. But I won't complain too much here. Moonveil is just really fun to use, and plus katanas are sick. But for spells, I'm still waiting for one to really wow me. I have a bunch, but still mostly just use Glintstone Pebble and Rock Throw. For big mobs, I do like to really use Glintstone Arc, because it actually works out really well. But as I continue to upgrade my intelligence, which I believe is now at 36, I see myself using Moonveil more and more, as its damage is really starting to outpace even my S-scaling Meteorite Staff. But yeah, once again, so much has changed. 35 hours is a long time to play a game, and I don't feel like I've even scratched the surface of Elden Ring. I doubt I'm even close to halfway through the game, even at this point, but I'm just really enjoying all of my time with it. I'm playing on PS5 and played a little bit of remote play on my PS4 in a couple rooms over, where I thought it didn't look that great on my 55-inch 1080p TV, which yes is a little old. I currently have my PS5 near my PC for capturing gameplay purposes, so it's hooked up to a 23-inch 1080p Asus gaming monitor, where I think it looks pretty good. I just still can't believe the world that From Software created with the Lands Between. I'm still finding more catacombs, caves, NPCs, and tons of secret areas. One of the most memorable scenes for me, I warped to Round Table Hold, and it was weird. It was dark, no NPCs showed up, and I was invaded. After defeating the invader, I got Edgelord's armor, and I think his weapon. And I was wearing that for a while because it honestly just looks so badass, and it has a decent ability where when your HP gets really low, it kind of boosts it up to like, I think like 15 or 20%, something like that. I really just wore it because it looked awesome. I've seen some complaints about no quest logs, and I'm starting to understand that a bit. There are so many little things thrown at you in Elden Ring, it's kind of hard to keep track of them all. Blade, the wolf guy for example, I finally found him and started his questline. I kept remembering that some NPC taught me how to snap, and I was supposed to find him somewhere in the woods. I wound up just saying screw it and warped around to a few different forest areas and rode around until I heard the howling, finally starting his questline. And an unexpected surprise, there was another area I went down and just thought it was a puzzly catacomb with a boss, kind of, like normally I've seen, not too long, maybe 15-20 minutes long. Well, I found the Ansel River, a huge underground tunnel system with giant ants everywhere, and a lightning dragonkin soldier boss at the end. And I just happened to find the Ansel River because I was having trouble in Raya Lucaria, so I decided to just warp somewhere else, run around the map for a bit until I found a new area and could level up a bit. I did not expect to find this huge place. I think that was a couple hours worth of gameplay in itself. And I keep saying this, but there are just so many cool things to find in Elden Ring. The creepy Latin singing siren or harpy bat things. I found one that couldn't stop dancing. I released my inner solid snake with a mimic veil for a little fun. And oh man, I didn't record this, but I was walking around a cliffside of somewhere. Found a weapon, which was cool, but there was this object that just felt sort of off nearby, so just for the hell of it, I smacked it with my sword and an NPC cried out for me to stop and revealed himself. I just opened up a basically hidden quest line. I could have run right past that, and I know there are a lot more of these. NPCs hidden in like shrubbery. I have no idea if I walked past more of these or not, but man, it's all about the details in Elden Ring. And yeah, what an experience Elden Ring has been so far. I've been pretty much playing it every single day, even if sometimes it's just about for 20 or 30 minutes. There is that fear of dread sometimes when you're playing this game. But a big reason why I started this diary series is so I can look back at it much later on my journey. I truly believe I'm experiencing one of the greatest game experiences I've ever had and just want to document it. And it really just feels nice playing it at my own leisure and taking my time with it. And I think it's really designed that way. Struggling too much in one area? Explore somewhere else for a few days. When I finally went back to Raya Lucaria, for example, I wouldn't say it was a cakewalk, but it was a much more forgiving experience, even if I wound up summoning for Renala. I have no shame for that, by the way. I typically give bosses a handful of goes. If I'm getting one shot, I bounce, do something else, come back later. If I'm close but I need some help after 7 or 8 tries, I don't know, I just summon and get on with my life. Because that's not always guaranteed. Sometimes that's another 5 to 10 tries. I'm just really excited to see where the next week of Elden Ring takes me. I didn't mean for this video to be nearly 2 weeks later, but honestly, I just kept playing the game. If you're watching now, hopefully you'll see me next at around 50 hours. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up with me and my Elden Ring experience, as this will truly help out this new channel, by the way. So, until next time, see you later.